Hey everybody, come on in. This is Hindsight News. We're going to do a little news. So I'm going to give you a second to get in, like and share. I was doing a little sharing myself. That's what I was doing, and making sure that we were up and live everywhere. Periscope gave me a little bit of trouble today, but we're up and good now. So thank you for everybody that's come in and everybody that has shared. I really appreciate that. It's an independent show, so I rely entirely on shares and comments and smashing the like buttons. Smash the like buttons and interact. I thrive off the comments, and this is a live show. I want to hear from you. Anything that's news that you want out there, feel free to comment and put it in the comments, and we will get into it. And but I have some stuff planned out. We're going to do a little bit of a news show. I'm going to read some news for you, some news that I got put together. And then afterwards, we will explore the comments and see what everyone's talking about and see what you're saying and get to all of that and get it all out there. We're going to get some news out, drop some truth on people tonight. But what this is hindsight news. This is the news that the mainstream media would cover if the mainstream media news was actually news and not weaponized propaganda. And our top story tonight is going to be that there is a war going on. Well, actually there are multiple wars, aren't there? We live in a perpetual state of war, but the war that I'm speaking of is going on behind the scenes. This hidden war that I'm speaking of is the war against the truth, and it has been going on for decades, but it is in full attack mode now. Truth and dissenting voices are being shut down, and a real journalist is being tortured in a prison cell while we sit silently watching the walls close in around us. It is way past time to stand up for the truth and defend it. Censorship has been corporatized, and the truth is being eliminated. We are heading towards a dystopian nightmare. 1984 come to life. The time to stand up is now, and I believe the fight to take up is Julian Assange. What is happening right now to Julian Assange is criminal, and it is on us to stop. The powers that be won't stop it. Hell, they are the driving force behind it. We, the people, need to stand up and make our voices heard that we will not tolerate the persecution of this man for telling the truth. WikiLeaks is a publisher with a flawless track record. Never, not once, have they published false information. Ever. WikiLeaks is not a Russian organization. Julian Assange is not Russian. He's also not a James Bond villain, super spy, or a spy at all. He's a journalist, what a journalist is supposed to be, and it's costing him his life. Right now, he is sitting in a prison cell, in a terrorist prison, a prison that holds terrorists, awaiting extradition to the United States for the crime of telling the truth, for putting truth out to the public, to everyone, to allowing whistleblowers a place and a platform to put out truth and to expose the things that they have exposed. People like Edward Snowden, Chelsea Manning, Seth Rich, people that have, like Seth, paid the ultimate price to tell the truth, to put the truth out there, to get the truth out there in front of people. So, what we're allowing to happen, and it's important for us to understand that we are allowing it, we are letting it happen. If it goes through, it will be because we stayed silent. It is our silence that is our consent. So we need to rise up, and I believe this is a perfect fight to do that. Julian Assange, we need to do all we can to make our voices heard that we do not support this. Defend the truth or they will kill it off. They're doing all they can. to kill off the truth. And one of the big things that they're doing is attacking it at its very source by attacking Julian Assange. And we can't allow it. If we continue to allow this, one day we will find ourselves in a position where there is no truth. It doesn't exist anymore. And I think that would be extremely unfortunate. Extremely unfortunate. That's the kind of thing I don't even want to think about, the kind of thing that terrifies me. I'm going to be honest. It scares me sometimes when I think about what we've allowed to happen so far. Think of where we are in this war against the truth that I talk about. Think about where we are, what's happening right now. The truth is being censored in real time. It's being eliminated. People that tell the truth and spread the truth and publish the truth and give truth a platform are being persecuted. Their lives ruined. People that have pushed the truth and put the truth out having their lives ruined. Or they have their life ended. It's very dangerous to tell the truth. The powerful got that way for a reason with certain practices. They hold on to their power by evil means. There's a lot of evil in this world, and a lot of it is ignored. And looking away is ignoring. Not acknowledging, not fighting, not making your voices heard is ignoring. We can't do that. Because if we look away and we wait for a hero, then nothing will be done to save Julian Assange. Everything will happen that they want and hope will happen. And it will be on us. We have to take ownership of this and take ownership of the fact that if we don't defend the truth and do everything we can to protect it, that it will be destroyed. It will be destroyed. And I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want to live in that reality where truth is something that doesn't exist anymore, where all we have is the establishment narrative, the approved narrative, what's been decided that's okay for us to consume. I'm afraid of that. It's terrifying to me. And then when I think about what's happening to Julian right now, what's been happening, the man has given up a large chunk of his life to shine a light on some evil things, to expose some evil things. And he sits in a prison cell for sharing the truth. And I hate to think what they want to do, but if it happens, it will be because we failed to fight. We have to fight. We have to do what needs to happen. And that is get out there, get in the streets, demonstrate, raise your voice, call your congressman, call your senator, call news channels, call newspapers. They control what the media prints and what the media publishes, but we can make our voices heard. We can overwhelm all of this. We have to. We have to. So it's on us to do something for Julian and for the truth. We need to defend it because it's being eliminated in real time. Censorship, as I said, has been corporatized. And Google and Facebook and YouTube handle censorship now. And everybody's okay with that because they're private companies. Well, I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay with anybody being in charge of what I can see and what I get exposed to. I want to be in charge of that. And, I bet a lot of you do too. So if you want to keep it, you better fight for it. But back to the news. Let's get back to the news. I don't want to get too sidetracked. we'll get back to Julian and the war against the truth later on, I'm sure. But right now, the next story is that the U.S. has killed the leader of ISIS, everyone. We win again. We are safe. Everyone is safe now. You can go back to sleep, go right back to bed, stop paying attention. Because al Baghdadi was taken out this past week in a raid. And the media just thinks it is the greatest thing ever. As does al Baghdadi's second in command, who just got a promotion. You know? Uh, that's what I'm thinking the whole time I'm watching this. Like someone else is the leader now. You know? There's a chain of command. And no one talks about the fact that we funded and started and created ISIS. Let's not talk about that. Let's not focus on that. But al-Baghdadi, and who knows if that's even a real person, was murdered today, and it was or murdered in a raid, and not today. But it's funny because when I heard the news, the first thing I asked was he buried at sea? Because I don't believe it. Isn't that funny? Ginger says hi. Hi, Ginger. For the fifth time. You've said hi 5 times. On my end, there's 2 people here, and that is the first time I've seen any comments. But hi, Ginger. I'm glad to see you here. But yeah, so we killed a terrorist and we win. We were big winners. And a dog was hurt in the raid, a German Shepherd, and a soldier, trooper, fighting terrorism, and he was injured. And Donald Trump talked about him and the raid and was very proud of himself. We did it, guys. I mean, we win. We won. ISIS is done now. It's all over. So, oh, he's been killed 5 times. Right on. I read that, but I didn't read the article, so I wasn't going to mention it. I figured it was BS. I knew that right away. That's why my first comment was he buried at sea? You know what I mean? They, you got to consider the source. They're unreliable at best. Excuse me. It's entertainment, but they're so happy. They're throwing a party on every channel. And so I figured I'd mention it, but I think it's total BS. And that's interesting about the 5 deaths. I read that. Like I said, but I didn't read it enough, so I don't know enough about it to comment. But I was even open to the possibility that this guy didn't even exist. But the US funds and supports terrorism. We created ISIS. We created Al Qaeda. We named Al Qaeda. Osama bin Laden was a CIA asset. His name was Tim Osmond. That was his CIA code name. He worked for us. And we created ISIS, funded them, armed them. And Jeffrey Epstein didn't commit suicide. That's something else that we need to talk about in the news because the news is not talking about that. Jeffrey Epstein did not commit suicide. And that story is not done. There's more there. There's still a madam running around. There's still all this other stuff. And it all dies with Jeffrey Epstein. No, can't let it die off. Gotta fight for the truth. See what I'm saying? The truth is being killed and suppressed in real time. And this is happening right now. But who is Tom Steyer? I know who he is, but I'm saying, who is Tom? Seriously, I mean, does anybody know for real? For reals? You may not know this, but Tom Steyer is a billionaire running for president. And he has spent 30 million of his own dollars on TV ads so far. That's just TV ads. I can't watch a YouTube video without seeing an ad for Tom Steyer. And I'm sure that radio is the same way. He's spending a lot of money running for president. Why? Why is he spending so much of his own money running a campaign he knows he can't win? That there's no possible way he has any chance of winning. Why is he spending so much money? Ginger says we fund both sides of every war. Woohoo. We're the bad guys. On the global scale, we are the terrorists. We are the villains. We are Team America World Police. You ever seen that movie? It's supposed to be a ridiculous. Tom Steyer only made his support numbers through his email list and a con. Well, I don't know. I just don't understand why he's investing so much of his own money. I understood why Ross Perot was doing it, but why is Tom Steyer doing it? He has no chance. And what does he hope to gain? What is his end game with this? That's what I want to know. That's a lot of money. Even though you got to figure he's a billionaire, so to him it's not. To me it is, but to him it's not. But still, it's a lot. Did you see that Rudy Giuliani butt dialed a reporter? It's not really news, even though the news is covering it. But I think it's hilarious. He butt dialed a reporter, and the reporter overheard him talking about how he's having money trouble and that they need money. But that's funny to me. Eh, I've done that. Have you ever done that? I've done that. It's embarrassing, especially when you do it to somebody like what he did to a reporter. I did it to a friend who listened in on the entire conversation and actually heard an embarrassing conversation, but Rudy did it to a reporter, which sucks for Rudy. So, but that happened, and that's fascinating. So you can look into that. But I wanted to talk about the California wildfires for a little while and bring attention to that. That is awful. And why does this keep happening? I hope you don't think I'm going to do a special report where I have answers. I don't know, but it's very suspicious. I've seen a lot of suspicious things going on with these wildfires, and we can cover that, and maybe we'll cover that in a conspiracy theories and chill and really get into it. But this is awful that this keeps happening. And I don't know how many people I read have been displaced, but I want to say it's like 800 to 1,000 so far, and they're closing freeways and highways, and it's just these massive out of control fires. But I'm scared I'm going to drop some conspiracy. I don't want to do that. But there's been stories about how they may be caused by these cable boxes, and that's mainstream news. But I've seen evidence in a lot of these fires of direct energy weapons. They're weird. The fires are weird. And that I need to cover in a conspiracy theories and chill video because that's a wild implication. I'm not, this is the news show. That's not for those. But there's suspicious things. And if you guys want to go have fun with that later, we can. But for now, I just wanted to bring attention to the fact that they are going on. And it's terrible. And a lot of people are being displaced and put out by these fires. And this happens very often. And it's going to happen a lot more often, they say. I don't know that it's all on the up and up. And like I said, that's for the conspiracy theory show, or we can get into it later after I finish the news. But the other thing that was big in the news when I was going through the media today, which I don't recommend doing, and I think I'm going to stop doing, even though I only look at it for stuff like this, I hate it. They're only talking about the impeachment proceedings of Donald Trump. That's all they're really talking about in the left-leaning news. They got like 16 different stories on each page about it. And I don't think it's ever going to happen. I think that's a pipe dream. I think we're going to beat Donald Trump in an election with ideas and move this country forward into a direction of justice for the people and a society that works for the people. I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think we're going to impeach him, but they do. They're putting all their eggs in that basket and hoping that that's what happens. But I don't want to focus on it because I think it's silly. I think it's not going to happen. Really, I don't. I really don't think it will. That's just my opinion, and if I was a betting man, if I was going to place a bet, it would be on the fact that the Donald Trump will be running in the election. We'll be running against Donald Trump, so we might as well just get used to that idea and just focus on that. Let them run wild with their impeachment proceedings. But what I think's interesting about the whole thing, about this impeachment and about everything that supposedly Donald did wrong, is that we're not talking about what Joe Biden did. Why aren't we talking about that? I think that's important. I think it's a little more important to talk about what Joe Biden did as vice president and how he enriched himself with that position and enriched his son as well. And the lengths he went to protect his son and the things that happened. I think that's important. I think that is worth pointing a camera at, pointing some attention at. I mean, maybe Trump wasn't supposed to ask a foreign leader about this, and he wasn't supposed to do this, and maybe. But what about what he uncovered? I think we should talk about that for a minute. What about that? That should mean something. I think that's just as important. Ginger said everybody's end game is keeping Bernie out and neoliberal policies intact. Of course, they're protecting a lot of money, a lot of money. Big dollars. And they don't want to kiss that goodbye. They don't want to see that go away. I understand. I get that. But they're going to have to get used to the idea because that's what's going to happen. Has to. I hope everybody understands that. We have to rise up. We have to. We have to make change because they won't self correct. They won't. They'll never stop. They'll never have enough. They'll never reach their fill, and they will destroy us if we don't fight back. And we're going to have to do that in a lot of different ways. We can do it politically, but it's not going to be through impeachment. I think it's going to be through beating Donald Trump in an election and moving our values forward in that way. And then we have to stand up for the truth and protect people that spread the truth, like Julian Assange. And that we're going to have to do by demonstrating, getting out in the streets, making our voices heard. Like I said, calling the news, calling your reporters, calling your senators, your congressmen, letting them know you don't support this. You do not support this. We do not stand for this. And he needs to be pardoned. He needs to be apologized to. And we need to leave that man alone. If it can be destroyed by the truth, it deserves to be destroyed. It does not need to be protected. The truth needs to be precious to us. And if it's hurt by the truth, then so be it. It deserves it. But don't let them take it away. Because we'll find ourselves in a real ugly position if we do that. If we allow them to silence us and silence the truth. So stand up for it before it doesn't exist, before it's no longer a thing. And we have to do that. We have to realize that that's on us, and that's going to be what makes it happen, or it won't. It won't happen, and then the truth will die. Kilo says, not just Biden. I wonder how many other politician relatives are in office because of their name. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and we can do a whole hour on that as well. Tammy says, I'm pretty sure they're all related by blood somehow, to be honest. I've seen a lot of theories on that. We can talk more about that too. And that'd be something to get into in the conspiracy theory show. Matter of fact, we're going to do a special episode tomorrow night of that show. And hi, Millicent. Good to see you. And tune in for that. It's going to be part 2 of the interview we did with Roxy Love. And I know a lot of people were angry because she's a flat earther, but we didn't get to present my side. I didn't get to push back or ask her any questions. So, because we got cut off. So we're going to do that. We're going to finish the interview and finish talking. And I think it's going to be entertaining and fun. And it's okay to talk about things that challenge you. And this way I get out your questions because I had all your questions ready. I just didn't get an opportunity to ask them because the feed crashed. Hey Steve, good to see you. But share this out, get it out there. The top story was on Julian Assange and how there is a war against the truth. I feel like the truth is being attacked in a way that it's never been attacked, you know, and it's been under attack for decades. But the way that it's being come after now, it's like they're going in for the finishing blow. We can't allow this. We can't let this happen. Sit down and read 1984 and ask yourself if you want to live in that book. That's where we're heading. Let's not do that, okay? Let's let's not do that. That's what I have nightmares about. You want to know what I'm afraid of? My friend Clinton would tell you he's afraid they're going to come take our guns and take our guns away. I'm afraid that one day you won't be able to speak up. You won't have a voice anymore. It won't matter. Nothing will. Then we'll be powerless. We'll be weak. That's what terrifies me. That's a lot scarier to me than taking a gun out of my hand. Take my voice away. Take the truth away. Then what stops evil then? Evil just has free reign then. That's terrifying. I don't want to think about that. I don't want to live in that world. That's what scares me. What scares you? I want to hear about from you. What news do you think is important right now that isn't being covered, that isn't being talked about, that is being swept under the rug? What is happening in the world that you think needs a platform? These shows are for you guys, so I want to hear from you. So I'm looking at the comments and I'm going to bring back up my phone because I can't see the watch party comments on my computer. I have to have my phone up. Hopefully I can get back into that watch party because it kicked me out. If you're at the watch party, come to my Yankee Show page. Come to the original feed and then I'll be able to see your comments because my phone crashed out and it's making me relog into Facebook and redo my password and all that. And I don't have time to do that right now. So it does that to me sometimes. And it's unfortunate, but I can't see the watch party comments anymore. So if you're at the watch party, come on over to Yankee Show and watch the main feed. But because I want to hear from you, I want to know what you want to talk about. But in the meantime, I just want to remind everybody that Jeffrey Epstein didn't commit suicide. I just want to make sure everybody understands that by the end of this episode. I think everybody does, but like regular people need to hear that sprinkled at least in every conversation. I've been seeing it in a lot of cool memes, which is really cool. I like that I'm seeing it out there. I like that we're acknowledging, hey, this is still happening, this is still real, still matters, still important. I like that. That gives me hope. That's what is giving me hope is seeing society start to wake up, start to realize what's going on and that there's a lot going on behind the curtain and they're starting to understand it, starting to come around and realize that we're going to have to do something about this. We're going to have to be the ones that fix this. Because if we don't, it won't get fixed. It's 100% on us. But let me know what you guys want to talk about. We'll keep going. We usually do about an hour. I did my little news. I wrote a news little show for you. There's a lot more that's going on that could be covered. I don't know exactly what this is going to be yet. This is still a baby. This is only like our fourth or fifth time doing it. But go ahead and comment. Let me know anything that you want to talk about, and we'll get into it. We've got a little time, so let me see. Let me check YouTube really quick, see what anybody's talking about over here. What do you want to get out? Anything? Any news that's not being exposed? I think the most important story is Julian Assange right now. I really do. But truth is incredibly important to me, and that's what he's being persecuted for. He's not being persecuted for anything other than sharing the truth, putting the truth out there, giving the truth a platform, and we've got to defend that. We've got to defend him in this fight because no one else is gonna. Who do we think's gonna if we don't? So I'd like to see us stand up. I'd like to see us do what needs to happen. And I'd like to see us rise up and fight back and protect Julian Assange and protect the truth. Because what'll happen if it gets destroyed? If they achieve their goal? Where will we find ourselves? I belong to a group on Facebook of creators and publishers, and I was talking in their feed today. We have a group chat, and I was listening to them talk about the different restrictions on Facebook and the different things Facebook is doing to them and throttling them, and they're throttling me. They're taking views away from my videos and suppressing my shows and content and keeping things back. And they'll suppress a video and take the views away from it, but then ask me to boost it for $10. They are doing this. They're suppressing the truth in real time. They're using their platform and their power to control everything. And that's not okay. We can't allow that. It's not okay because they're a company that they can do whatever they want. It's not okay because they have a monopoly over information. So where do you put it out? See, if you have a voice and no one can hear you, it's like if a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound? You know what I mean? Is it going to matter what you say when nobody can hear you say it? And that's where we're heading if we keep heading in this direction. So I don't want to see us head there. I don't want to see us end up there. I hope you don't. I'm going to do everything I can to stop it. I'm going to speak the truth. As long as there's somebody that will listen to me, I'm going to keep trying to speak the truth. Nobody's going to see it unless we share it and get it out and do all we can to spread it. But if we do, we can make this happen. But we're going to have to own it and realize it's ours to win or lose. So let's win, and let's take this opportunity, what's happening with Julian, as an opportunity to stand together for something that matters, something that's crucially important, the truth, which is what he's being persecuted for. Why he's sitting in that prison cell is for spreading the truth. And we've got to stop this. We've got to put a stop to it. We're the only ones that can. So stand up and fight back. Stand up and say that we don't support this. And let's not allow them to persecute Julian Assange. We don't have to let them. And all that will stop them is us rising up and making sure that it doesn't happen. So let's do that. We need to do that. We need to rise up and be heard. Make sure that they know we do not condone this. Our silence is our consent. If we stay silent, that's the same thing as consenting to it. And I don't consent to this. I don't consent to what's going on with Julian Assange. And I don't consent to what's happening with the truth. What incentive is there for somebody to risk their life and their livelihood and to ruin themselves to give truth a platform? What incentive is there? Look what happens to you. They need us to defend them. Not some hero. We're not waiting for somebody to come along that's never coming. We have to do this. So let's own it and do everything we can to move it forward. Hey, Phil. Good to see you guys. This is a live show, so feel free to interact and comment. I want to hear any news that you think's important. What I think is the most important thing happening in the news right now is the persecution of Julian Assange. He had a hearing. I talked about it in a feed the other day, but they were trying to get a delay to his extradition to the United States. They're trying to extradite him to the United States to prosecute him for some pretty heinous crimes against America. And if they get their way, that man will never have any more freedom the rest of his life. If they get their way, his life is ruined for the truth. So they can't get their way. We can't allow that. We can't let that happen. We have to do all we can. And like I said, we're going to have to realize it's on us. No hero or savior is coming to save the day. We've got to do it. So let's do it. And it's going to take stuff like this, independent media, support independent media and independent journalists and all that. Anytime you find somebody you like, make sure you support that. And that's what you should watch. Don't give the media the time of day. But we covered a lot of other things, and we can cover anything else that you think's important that we need to get to or address before we wrap up. We got some time, but let me know in the comments and on YouTube too. Anything you guys want to get into, any news that you think is important that we need to bring up before we wrap up, let me know. But what do you think about that terrorist that we killed, the leader of ISIS? What do you think about that story? Do you think, like Ginger had said, and if you were in that watch party, again, I can't see your comments, so come to the Yankee Show page and join the main feed, and I'll be able to see your comments again. But I got kicked out of that watch party. So, but let me know anything you want to get into, what you think about that. Ginger had brought up that he's died 5 times, that we've killed him 5 times, or so, it died in some way 5 different times. I don't believe in that stuff. I think it's complete garbage and lies. And even if we did get him, even if we did get the leader of ISIS, all you did was give the second in command a promotion. You just moved him up the ladder. Kilo says you can't kill an ideology with bombs. No, no. Especially when that's one of the driving forces behind the ideology. Not the ideology itself, but the anger from that group is from the bombs. You just make them more terrorists. That's what we are. And we're like recruiters for terrorism. And we're terrorists. We are the terrorists. And we funded them and created them. When we stand around and act like we don't know how it's happening, we create our own enemy so we have someone to fight endlessly. This whole war machine is self-sustaining and it chugs along at a breakneck pace and will never stop on its own. We're going to have to be the ones that stop it. We're going to have to be the ones that put a stop to it. And I think the truth is one of our biggest weapons against it. So that's why I do what I can is spread as much truth as I can and try to get it out as far as I can. And I just think that's all we can do. And we got to take advantage of these platforms while they exist. Because I feel like eventually they won't. We're going to find ourselves in a reality where this stuff has gone away, where it no longer exists. And that scares me. That really frightens me. That's something that has me very worried. But what do you guys think is important? What do you want to get into? We can talk about anything at this point. We're at 45 minutes and we've done the news. There's more news, but nothing really to get into, especially from the mainstream media. Uh, I could maybe in the future, if you guys would like it, cover some stuff that's going on that the independent media is highlighting. And there's a lot of good independent media. But like I'm saying, support that and make that grow. Let the mainstream media die. Don't get your news from them for sure, but don't watch them even for entertainment, which is all they can really be called. They're not news. News doesn't exist anymore. It's not real anymore. It's been corporatized at the very best, and it's completely controlled. So, thanks for watching, guys. This has been Hindsight News. This is weekly. We do this on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Central. And tune in next Monday night for more news and let me know anything you'd want to see covered because it's Hindsight News. So it can be old news. It can be anything. We can really get into anything on here. And then tomorrow, I'm going to have Roxy back on, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little flat earth. And then Wednesday night on Conspiracy Theories and Chill, I'm going to have Nick Reeder back. He has been on before. He's going to come back on and talk to us about QAnon. So that's what's coming up on the shows moving forward. And that Conspiracy Theories and Chill will be Wednesday night. So tune in for that too. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. And this has been the news, Hindsight News. See you next Monday for another episode.